I wore a tie for this show. I was tieless on that show.
I understand that. I understand you did that. You called for wardrobe. I get that, but don't make it seem like you scheduled your whole day around us if you got around the horn prior to us.
I mean,
it's not that I don't love you. I love you.
This tie again.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. Wilbon is out today, so I'm pleased to welcome back the big brain behind the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast, Mr. Pablo Torre. You should have brought the people from around the horn to cheer, and we begin today with the news that Caitlin Clark will leave Iowa after this season and enter the WNBA Draft. Clark scored 33 points last night against Minnesota to pass Lynette Woodard as the leading scorer in women's major college basketball history. Pablo, if you were in Clark's shoes, would you have been tempted to stay in college for a fifth COVID year, given all the NIL money out there?
Yes, tempted is the right word, Tony, but I believe that, and I guess I should say, if you've been sleeping through college sports economics class, we are in this state where suddenly a college player can make so much more via NIL than the #1 overall pick would make in the WNBA draft. You make less than $80,000 in salary in the WNBA. Of course, the marketing money in college is now available to you, and so you can make so much more on just that level. But the reason I believe that Caitlin Clark is doing this and why I am tempted to make the same call is because I'm assuming she's a rational actor here. I'm assuming she did the analysis which showed that her marketing money in college might transfer over to her professional life. And if that is the case, what else is there really to do for her in college basketball? It's so much fun to watch her there, the showmanship, but I feel like we all know what she is. The next challenge with her health feels like the next actual story that I'd want to cover.
This is interesting, and I appreciate what you're saying. I had a slightly different reaction. I was surprised to learn about this just a while ago, that she was going to go pro. And I was surprised because in the games that I watch, particularly in the games when she is in Iowa, she seems so buoyant and so joyful being out there in front of those people. It feels like a family dinner of sorts. And so I thought if she had the opportunity, given that she didn't need the money, if she had the opportunity to stay, maybe she would stay. And then I thought, well, maybe the WNBA would say to her, well, if you want, we'll put a franchise in Des Moines. We will move an existing franchise, or we'll create a new franchise. And you laugh, but at your age, you would not know this. When Bill Walton was at UCLA, the ABA at that time offered to put a franchise in his hometown of San Diego and stock it with UCLA players. Now, I am also told that the #1 pick in the WNBA draft is owned by Indiana this year. Indiana is contiguous, is it not, to Iowa? It is the Midwest. Maybe that comfort level would still be there. The other part of this that I thought about, she's a star player. Maybe she wants to play with stars all the time, with the best players out there. Maybe she's ready for that. You called her a rational actor in this. Maybe she said, you know what, this is my time to go and do it on this level too.
I do believe that the WNBA is getting a star unlike anyone else they've had in my memory when it comes to out-of-the-box immediate audience, Tony. And so I just wonder, right, the reason she's getting all of this money and marketing money primarily, I presume, because of Iowa boosters. If you're what they don't have in Indiana right now are really Indiana fever boosters. You will have Caitlin Clark marketing endorsers, and that's the big step that I hope that everybody in the WNBA economy is ready to take. But the next step for us,
I think we would both agree on this. We would both agree that she's not doing this for money. We don't think this is for money because there is money out there now that would carry over another year, right? Okay.
Yes, I believe it's a familiar story in that she wants to go pro in the way that everybody else we've seen come through college wants to. It's the next great challenge in her actual life as an athlete. But I want to move on to...
Ooh, break out the bottomless chili mimosas or margaritas or whatever you want, because Iowa star Caitlin Clark said today she's going to go pro. But not before she leaves her indelible mark on the college game. Already has. Last night she passed Kansas legend Lynette Woodard for the major college women's career scoring record. Next up, 18 points shy from breaking Pistol Pete's overall D1 scoring mark. Iowa closing its regular season Sunday against Ohio State. There's lots of comparisons you'll see over the next few days between Clark and Maravich. Clearly they played in very different eras, with the LSU star playing when freshmen were ineligible. and when there was no three-point line or shot clock. But he also played in a much higher scoring era of college basketball. Men's team averaged a tick over 77 points a game in his final season. That was just shy of a D1 record. Well, you thought it was Thursday. It's actually Dre Day. Our ESPN analyst, Andraya Carter, is here. So she'll be going for Pete Maravich's record, and she'll be doing it in her regular season finale as a member of the Iowa basketball team. But she faces a tough test against Ohio State. What problems will they present her?
Well, here's the thing about Ohio State. Ohio State has a defense that is naturally aggressive, that's naturally alert. The thing that teams struggle with is having to turn it on to go against Caitlin Clark. Ohio State doesn't have to turn it on, they just have to turn it up. This is a stingy, aggressive, physical defense. They are number 1 in their league as far as forcing turnovers, forcing 22 a game. That's top 10 in the country. Caitlin Clark put up phenomenal numbers against Ohio State. She had 45 points. She was efficient when she played Ohio State. It was an overtime game. She did her thing. The one thing, she had 7 turnovers. That's what Ohio State thrives off of. They forced turnovers. They had 18 points off of Iowa's turnovers. So it's that stingy, aggressive defense. Another thing that Ohio State showed they were willing to do was leave other players to go find Caitlin. Leave other players to go crowd Caitlin. So that relentless pursuit of Caitlin Clark, Ohio State has the athletes to do that, the quickness to do that, and the mindset to do that. You know, I had the Indiana Pacers just last night. They were playing the Pelicans. And Rick Carlisle, the Pacers head coach, he was like, if you give Zion a steady dose of anything, he's going to kill it. No, actually, he's going to obliterate it. That's what Rick Carlisle said. That's Caitlin Clark. If you give Caitlin Clark a steady dose of anything, she's going to kill it. She's going to obliterate it. Ohio State has the defense that can mix it up, switch it up, and make life harder for her.
A lot of people don't realize, with all the talk about Iowa, it's Ohio State, in fact, that clinched the regular season title. As for tonight, what a show.